Hi everybody, I am here sitting with Nathan from Cold War Kids. How are you?
Doing good.
Thank you so much for talking to me. This is comfortable, isn't
it? Couch.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have been to El Paso before. It's been a few years.
Yeah.
Last time you guys played Turkey Falls.
Yeah.
How was it?
Great.
I missed out on that one.
Great.
Completely
yeah,
missed
really
out. So the city's changed a little bit. There's lots of construction going on.
So much. It's crazy.
But we love that you are back, especially for the benefit concert, El Paso Forever.
Yeah.
And talk to me about, you have a new album coming out. It's called New Age Norms, number one. And how was that recording process?
Yeah, so we had been making it over the course of like a year, really. I always, love to get home and get back in the studio, and we've been doing this so long now that a lot of waiting around, get bored, I want to get to work.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a long time before this concept of like having 3 different records, like short 8-song records came about, because the producer that I've worked with a bunch, Lars Stoffers, he and I have been working on this, and just kind of felt like I want to have, I just love having a few things going at once. So we started working with a different producer. Lars and I is more of like a he and I thing, and we involve some different people to write with us in a way that we've never done before. These guys, Asa and Matt from Electric Guest, a different band that they contributed a lot, and so then, but also kind of missing the side of Cold War Kids that's more like full band, live in a room, spontaneous jamming, like playing off of each other kind of thing. So we did that. That's kind of the more New Age Norms 2 thing with the producer. His name is Sean Everett. He did like some of my favorite records of the last few years. He like Alabama Shakes record. He did this Brittany Howard record that just came out that's beautiful and so rad.
Love her.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. But a lot of his sounds, like his vibe, he has this big like kind of like hip hop drums, like great. He just gets this great feeling in his records. So that's gonna be part 2, and yeah, it's just a kind of a way to juggle a lot of things and have a lot of songs that are different, reflect very different styles that we've kind of always been about, and get to release a lot of music, but not in one big chunk. Spread out.
It's spread out.
Yeah.
So going back to your first album, Robbers and Cowards, right? So that was like 16 years ago. Am I dating anybody here? Sorry.
No, it's okay.
But
I also want to say I just had my 40th birthday like a week ago.
Really?
At a show in Red Rocks. Was like such a crazy special night to be like playing a show at that place. So yeah, I'm still on a birthday.
Well, happy birthday! It's your birthday month.
Yeah, it's my birthday month.
Definitely, we're gonna have
anyway,
to have a drink.
So we are dated. We are dated, and we're old, and it's great.
Well, but going back and thinking about that album to now, and how your sound has changed or morphed, and I mean, looking back, do you think that was your baby, your first baby?
Yeah.
It was your first kid to this album that's coming out.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that whole transition?
Man, I feel very lucky. When you start anything, you don't know what you're doing. You always, and there's that type. I think Cold War Kids has always had a very scrappy side of like getting into the studio. In some ways, I don't know. There's so much to know about songwriting and engineering and microphones and everything, how it all works.
The technical aspect.
The technical sides of it, and the writing and knowing like what is a very what feels really good as a spontaneous choice playing music together, and what is like and when that's like not good songwriting, it doesn't listen well. Those sides, you don't know any of that at the beginning. You just this is all we know, this is what we're gonna do, let's go in there and record. And I'm so grateful for that. And there's always the part of me that kind of is looking at it going I wonder how I would have done that now. But that's what these records are. They're all these records they're none of them are perfect, or they're all these little experiments and trying things, and you evolve. And so yeah, there was a time early on, my personality I think was very unsatisfied, very like, we're not doing it right, we need to get to the bottom of this thing. And now I have a much more like gracious view of it, where I'm just like, oh man, we get to keep doing this thing, keep making these records that are like, they're never perfect, and there's always like things that you want to change about them, but like they're out there in the world, and they represent these different phases of our lives.
Yeah, well, it is. They're part. It is a part of your life.
Yeah.
And a different life that you were living at that time.
Yeah.
Because you're a totally different person from 16 years ago.
Yes.
You know. But having that said, how does the band keep their creative energy going?
I think it's interesting, like, people have different roles at different times, and I think that's the hardest thing. Like, man, I was just watching I was at home before this tour started. I have a 5-month-old baby. Aww. And I was with her, and I was like holding, like, I literally for like maybe 8 hours was watching this Wu-Tang documentary that was on Hulu, just holding her, feeding her, sleeping. But it was like fascinating to me, because so much of it is about that question, just like the dynamic of like their creative, the way they worked was very chaotic, and like sort of, but that's what made it special and wonderful and great. But at the same time, so hard to harness and replicate that thing. And so I was watching that, thinking so much about our time coming into this, and how much certain people, former members, contributed at different times, and it's like it's a family that just goes on, and people. You have to have a lot of grace. I think that's the thing more than anything.
Right, and everybody brings their own magic to the table.
Yeah, and there are, and like anything, it's sort of, it's that thing where, like, I think I, in a lot of ways, was always the leader and brought everyone together, but I wanted to, like, let people incubate and give space to grow. And then at a certain point was like, okay, now I really need to like take the reins more, because I could see this kind of falling apart if I don't. There's like those different seasons of it. So,
right.
So that's also very much, I think, what this New Age Norms concept is that the first one is me being the controlling need for doing it, my way. And the second one is much more of a group contribution, and like I need and want both of those things, but like you need those like boundaries and like that's what I'm seeing, is like you can't have it all with each approach.
No, you gotta stay in your own lane for a moment.
Yeah.
And let everybody else kind of drive the car for a second.
Yeah, and it's great to come full circle for me, because I feel like at different times I could listen to old music and be like, oh man, like if only I could have got to change that person's thing or whatever. Whereas now I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad. Every one of these people have contributed so much that I could have never, you have a big view of it. So
totally,
it's nice. Yeah.
Totally. Well, I mean, you guys have come a long way, and your new single, Complainer, I was listening to it and I'm like, oh my God, this is a hit. This is a great tune.
Hey, all right.
I loved it. Okay, so now that you guys are going back on tour and you guys are headliners now, but looking back, who was the best band that you ever opened up for?
Best band I've ever
just
opened
energy
for.
based, it was just one of those great nights.
Yeah. Okay, let me think about this, because there's been a lot, and there's been a lot of good ones. We did so much touring, like, I mean, it's of course like romanticizing the early days is just the best. Like, but we did a lot of touring with this band Dr. Dog and this band Elvis Perkins and Deerland, and like the three of us were very different, but the energy and that sense of like coming up on each other's songs and appreciating each other's different styles was like, it was so fun every night, and it felt very much like we're young. We don't know if we're gonna be able to do this forever, but it's just fun. And you have this crazy talent that's nothing like what we do, and you have this talent, you know. And so that was a really like special time.
What a great vibe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so best venue to play at home.
At home, like in LA.
In LA.
Okay, best venue to play at home in LA. I mean, I love the Wiltern is like a rad LA venue that we've played a bunch of times. I want to play the Greek. We've never played the Greek. It's a big old outdoor.
You want to play the Greek?
Yeah, but it's also one of those things that's big. So it's like, all right, you don't do that before you earn that. So we gotta, whenever that time comes. I'm not in a rush, but that's something that's.
I'll keep an eye out. I'll make a trip just for
okay.
that, for sure, for sure. All right, we're gonna have a little bit of fun, real quick. Tacos or burritos?
Tacos.
Which is your favorite emoji when you're texting back and forth with band?
Let's see. This will show me my most used one, right?
Yes.
I'm also like, I'm on the phone all the time, but also kind of like still really dumb. Like, I don't know. I mean, thumbs up emoji is just it's just the easy. I mean, it's a really boring answer, but it's just like, hey, we're going here, or like, congratulations, you got thumbs up. It's just an easy cure-all for
if you were stranded on an island and can only take one record with you, would it be the Smiths?
Okay.
Or Nina Simone?
Ooh. I mean, I guess it'd have to be which of those, but damn. I think a Nina Simone. The Smiths would. Damn, that's really good.
I know.
You got me. You got me. That's really hard. Oh, because of your choices. I think it's Nina Simone though, because I'd be really lonely, and like the Smiths would be hitting that lonely spot, but like I might need a little like gospel hope with that.
I mean, she is sugar, my friend. She is sugar.
Yeah, I might need that.
Yeah.
Hope. Yeah.
I love it. Nathan, thank you so much for talking to us. They've got a new album out, Cold War Kids. It's going to come out in November. Do you have an exact date? Or
November 1st is the first one.
Oh, okay, November 1st.
Yeah.
UH Norms, number one? Or just one?
Just one. Actually, that's where we've been like, are we calling it volume number one? I don't know where.
Okay, so just one. All right, well, look for them everywhere on social media. Song Complainer's out already. I think you guys have another single out.
Waiting for Your Love, 4th of July. We'll put a couple more out soon.
All right, great. Well, thanks. Welcome back to El Paso.
Thank you so much.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.